Recording.
Awesome. Okay, thanks guys. Sorry for that brief technical difficulty. Thanks for making the time for being on tonight. As I mentioned, Christina had a conflict and she's sorry she couldn't be on, but I'm honored just to host and get us rolling with this call tonight. We have a very special guest who I'm really excited to hear from. So just a couple quick announcements. We have 4 full days left in the month. I hope everybody is making the most of every single day. Now is the time to incentivize. If you've got people on the fence, we've got to make sure that we are hitting Success Club. Once again, you probably know our 7 top challenge packs are on sale this month. So we have to take advantage of that. We want to make sure that people know about your upcoming challenge groups. So you have to be sure that you're inviting. We're heading into the last quarter, which is the softer part of our season. So it's really up to us to create that energy, that excitement, that momentum rolling into the end of the year, because how you end the year is really going to affect you going into 2017. With that being said, something really exciting that we can start getting people excited about is Core to Force. As you know, it's going to be launching, I believe it's November 1st it'll be available. So right now we have 4 to 5 weeks to make sure we start creating that brand awareness. We start showing videos. There have been some amazing transformations already. You guys know Amy Coppola is in the test group. Nina from Diesel Nation is also in the test group. So be sure you head over to Amy's page and check out her story so that you can let all of your friends know about it. She has a folder with all the transformations, but you guys, this program is amazing. I got to preview it and I cannot wait until November. So let's make sure that all of not only our friends, but our teams and our coaches know about it. It is up to us to lead the charge. So get ready. I'll post in the event page for this call, but also in Diesel Nation Team Page and Diamonds, we have a launch packet that is going to help you and give you the nuts and bolts of how to successfully launch this. When you take it seriously, you've got email collectors, you've got all of these awesome tools you can use to let people know about Core to Force. You are going to have a huge November, but it's up to you to plant the seeds right now. And you can't just wait until a week before. It takes a month of talking about it in your challenge groups, talking about it in your team pages. So let's make sure that we maximize that and get fired up for November. I know that we have, if anybody can write in the chat, unfortunately I didn't write down, we have our Super Saturday weekend. I believe it's like October, it's the last week. Does anybody have that date right now? Because you know what, when Laurie's talking, I will get the date. Okay, there we go. Super Saturday is October 30th, so I want you to be looking forward to October. Make sure that you guys are committing to being at events. You guys, that's where it all happens. So that's really it for, somebody raised her hand. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat and we can definitely get your questions answered. But I want to jump right into introducing our guest speaker. I have had the pleasure of watching Laurie McDonald Mottl from day one. She is not my coach, but she is Lindsay Alexander's coach, and she hit diamond about June last year. She is a mom. She's got 2 young boys. She's a very busy physician assistant. And a year ago, she was working full time, actually up until just a few months ago. Very stressful, demanding job. She's got, her husband is a doctor, so she carries most of the mom and parental duties. She's a baseball mom. She does it all. She's amazing. She's currently a 3-star diamond qualifying coach, and she's a Success Club 10 All-Star. But the most impressive thing is just how on fire her team is. She's currently number 96 in the entire network. Right now. So she's positioned, she's already elite qualified. She's somebody who gives 100% every single day. She leads her team with passion and heart. And I cannot wait to hear her share her story and her words of wisdom tonight. So without any further ado, I'm going to make sure that Laurie is off of mute. And I'm so excited to hear from her. And Laurie, take it away. Laurie?
Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Good. All right. Kara, seriously, it is an amazing honor to have you, of all people, introduce me, because Kara, I'm sure all of you guys know her, but she is somebody that I just admire and adore and honestly try and emulate in everything that I do. So it is just really almost surreal that I am here, and I honestly would be lying if I didn't tell you guys that I wasn't nervous. I'm extremely nervous, and I still remember when I was a brand new coach about a year and a half ago, I would hop on some of these Diesel Nation calls, and you know, Christina would be speaking, or some of the other elite coaches, or some of the other Superstar Diamond coaches, or whoever, and I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, they're all just so charismatic, and they're so smart, and they just have it all together, and I would die if I ever had to do that. But here I am, completely unexpectedly. So I just wanted to give you a little bit more background first about myself. As Kara said, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Laurie Mottl, and I have been a coach now for a little over a year and a half. I am first and foremost a mama to two very beautiful and crazy as all get out boys. Steven is 7 years old, and he literally asked me to make sure to talk about him tonight. So there's the shout out. And Camden is almost 5, going on like 15. He's about the most precocious thing you'll ever meet. I'm also a wife to my husband, Steve, who we've been together for about, I should know this, I think 14 years. And we met back in Chicago when we were both attending graduate school there. I was a first-year PA student, and he was a second-year medical student. We were super young, and I did not want a boyfriend. I 100% did not want a boyfriend who was a medical student, because that was not going to happen. That wasn't in my plan. So I did my best to avoid him, but one day he threw a football at me from across campus, and I missed really grandiosely, and the rest is, I guess, kind of history. We live in the suburbs of Dallas, Texas, in a place called Flower Mound, which is literally as lovely as it sounds. We love it here. And I am currently practicing as a physician assistant. My specialty is infectious disease, and I see exclusively patients that are HIV positive or hepatitis C positive. And that's been a passion of mine, honestly, ever since I was in high school. As weird as that sounds, I've always been really drawn to just HIV in and of itself. And so I was really fortunate to land a position for the last 13 years where I've been able to treat those individuals. And then my husband is in his 4th year of clinical practice as a cardiologist for Baylor. So that's just a little bit of background about us. Really, I was just asked to kind of share my story and just kind of give some nuggets or pearls of wisdom, if you will, as to what I think maybe I've done to set myself up from being a 100% all-in discount coach to a 100% all-in business builder gunning for elite this year. So I wanted to take you much further back, but I realized that that would take way too long. So I'm just going to take you back to the beginning of my Beachbody journey, which was about 2 years ago. Make sure all of y'all are on mute. But anyway, it was about 2 years ago. It was at the time that we had recently moved to Dallas, and we had kind of started planting roots. We lived here for about 2 years, and I had found a really great group of girlfriends, and it really was starting to feel like home. But something was kind of, I don't know, something was kind of missing. I had found another job, which was wonderful. But unfortunately, I did not get to take my dream job. My dream job would have been in basically the ghetto of the south side of Dallas, because that's where, you know, most of my patient population usually lives. But I needed to be there for my children. You know, I had an infant and a 3-year-old at the time, and I made the decision to take a job in a more rural clinic, still practicing HIV medicine, but just knowing that it wasn't really it wasn't my jam. It wasn't what I was used to. I was literally used to working at Cook County Hospital in Chicago and kind of on the border of Mexico, where there was a lot of really crazy pathology. So it was just going to be different for me. And I started this job. There was a lot of kind of going back and forth between my husband and I, because he honestly didn't want me to go back to work. He had been working his butt off for the better part of the last, 10 years trying to get to where he was. And he thought that I should stay at home. And, our kids are only little once, and he really thought that it was my opportunity to be with the kids, and that was what I needed to do. But I had different plans, and I have always more or less identified myself as a working woman. And I kind of felt like the couple months that I wasn't working when we first moved here, I had sort of lost my identity. So I took a job, full well knowing that it probably wasn't the ideal job. But unfortunately, not only was it not the ideal job, it really brought me down a lot. And I'll preface this by saying I actually still work there, but this is an environment that is really quite negative. There's a very high turnover rate. There really is a lot of disrespectfulness that goes on within my clinic system, and I really was only there because I am just so passionate about helping people with HIV that I wanted to stay in that field and do this anyway. But what happened over the course of those first couple years is that I brought it home with me, and I brought it home with me every night. I was anxious, and I was angry sometimes because my nurse was completely checked out and nobody was really doing what they're supposed to be doing, and patients weren't getting the care that they deserved because of the environment that we worked in. And it kind of took a toll on me. My baby at the time was almost 3 by that point, and I still had about 10 to 15 pounds of baby weight to lose, and I had what was diagnosed as chronic stomach ulcers that were so debilitating that I had to take the highest dose of prescription stomach medication just so that I wasn't in pain all the time. But I honestly didn't think about it. I had headaches almost constantly. I was dizzy a lot of the time, and I was tired all of the time. But quite honestly, as a kind of newish mom, as a working mom, I truly thought, even though I'm a medical provider, I truly thought that that was just normal. So it was the summer of 2014, and I honestly wasn't really looking for anything. I just thought this was my new normal. I was kind of frumpy. I wasn't really happy with myself. I was kind of falling into a very negative mindset. Even my friends probably didn't enjoy getting together with me for fear of my stories of my office, But I was scrolling through Facebook, and I noticed that my dear friend Lindsay had posted something on one of our other friends' walls about this challenge. And it looked to be a health and fitness challenge, and I really didn't even care what it was. But the fact that 2 of my friends from 2 other states were doing something together, and I missed my friends so desperately from back in the Midwest, and Lindsay in Florida, that I just said, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm in. And that was it. So the challenge actually ended up being the 21-day fix, and we started in August of 2015. And it was probably only like 6 or 7 of us. It was just a really close-knit group of girlfriends from grade school and high school. But from that moment forward, I was absolutely hooked on the idea of challenge groups. I thought that it was the most impressive idea that, we could be working towards a common goal of getting healthy and, eating right and exercising together, even though we lived in all the different corners of the United States. And that really made my heart happy, because if you know me, then you know that I value friendship above almost anything else in the entire world. So for me to be able to reconnect like that with some of my dearest friends was just the greatest thing. And not only that, but I'm kind of a competitive natured person, and especially with myself. So if I was going to do this challenge, whatever it was, I was going to do it right. So, I followed the containers to a T, and I drank my Shakeology every day, even though I honestly thought it was kind of gross at first. And I did my workouts every day, and I did not drink a drop of alcohol, if you can believe it, for 21 days. And lo and behold, that first 8 pounds that I'd been holding on to for almost 3 years, it fell off. So not only was I completely in love with the idea of a challenge group, but the program really worked. So to continue on, this journey was really kind of a no-brainer for me because I just was really enjoying it. So Lindsay, like any good coach would do, offered me the coaching discount. And by this time it was August or September or whatever. And I said, oh yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I get a discount? So she told me I just needed to go and sign up and I would start getting my shakes at a discount. I went to sign up. I looked at the screen. I couldn't figure out how to become a coach without buying a challenge pack. Here I am. I've got a master's in medicine. I consider myself a pretty smart person, but I literally couldn't figure out how to become a coach. I didn't want a challenge pack, so I shut off my browser and I just forgot about it. And I kept drinking my shakes and I kept doing the challenge groups, and probably about once a month, Lindsay would say, hey, you should sign up for that discount. And I would say, yeah, I totally need to do that. But I didn't. So October, November, December all rolled by. And then finally in January, I decided it was time to switch things up. I really wanted to try PiYo. So at that point, my coach was like, dude, you got to get the discount. Let's do this for you. So I was able to, I think I signed up to be a coach with the PiYo Challenge Pack because I could figure that out. I knew how to do that one. So therein lies my first point. Here I am, a very motivated challenger, really kind of rocking the challenge groups, taking the lead in some of the challenge groups. My coach tells me to sign up for the discount. I tell her I'm going to, but I don't, for 5 months. And my coach was probably secretly kicking herself, but I didn't know it was important to her. And honestly, if somebody tells you that they're gonna buy a challenge pack or they're gonna sign up for the coaching discount, it's not as important to them as it is to you. You may be sitting there and it may be the 31st of the month and you may be like, just hit refresh one more time, just hit refresh one more time. Did they do it? But they didn't do it because they're taking their kids to baseball and they're making dinner and they're at work. And the last thing on their mind is saving $17 or, signing up for the 21-day fix because you have them every 3 weeks. So whatever, but if you really put yourself out there and you let somebody know that this really is important to you. Like if my coach would have probably told me, hey, I'm really going to advance my business if you sign up, I would have done it in a heartbeat for her because I love her. So, you got to be patient, and sometimes you just have to lay your cards out there if somebody is kind of stringing you along, because I guarantee you they're not doing it to be malicious and they're not doing it to string you along. It's just not their first priority. So anyway, I became a coach, and I was 100% in for the discount. Lindsay knew it. I was really excited about my Athleta discount, and I marched my butt over to the store right away to exercise that right, but I didn't really give it any other thought. But again, like any good coach, she offered me into the No Limits Fitness new coach training. And I think I kind of told her, I'll be in it, but I'm not going to do this. I have a job and it's kind of a stressful situation and I don't really have time to add anything else. But I'll check it out. So I opened up the new coach training and I saw that the first post was, tell us about your why. And in big bold letters, it says, it cannot be to help people. And I remember thinking to myself, well, this is crazy. Because if I'm going to be a coach, then of course I want to help people. I don't know why else I would want to be a coach. And the whole thought of finding your why honestly just didn't make sense to me. I guess in my medical brain, I kind of thought it was something that our therapist would ask. So I literally quit. I quit new coach training because that first post scared me, quite honestly. I didn't have anything significant to say other than to help people, so I didn't do it at all. And what Kara probably does not know is that totally ate me alive. Kara was the head of, or is the head of No Limits Fitness and was the head of this group. She didn't know who I was, I'm certain of it, but to me, being somebody that has always been very successful in the things that I that I want to try to accomplish, to quit something just really got to me. And I thought, man, this woman probably thinks I'm a loser. You know, here I am, and I do new coach training for like a day or two, and then I quit. So in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, man, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But in any event, I was doing the PIO challenge, and I actually was having amazing results. PIO completely agrees with my body. I used to be a ballet dancer, and I loved it. And I finally lost all 15 pounds of my baby weight, and people started noticing. They started noticing that my body was changing. What was the best part is that my attitude was changing. I actually was not pissed off all the time anymore at work, which is pretty hard to do because it's a pretty toxic environment. So my coworkers started saying, hey, what are you doing? And my friends in Flower Mound started saying, hey, what are you doing? So it was just very natural for me to tell them what I was doing, which is probably not unlike what a lot of you guys have experienced. So I didn't do new coach training, but I thought to myself, hey, all these friends of mine want to, you know, do challenge groups. I love challenge groups. That's the reason why I stuck with Beachbody for as long as I had anyway. So I asked Lindsay if she would help me to run a couple challenge groups. So I gathered some sorority sisters, and we did the 21-day fix. And I gathered my coworkers and the people, my friends in Flower Mound, and we did PIO. And I remember all this excitement from my coach. You know, she was posting in No Limits Fitness and on my page, oh my gosh, Laurie already hit Success Club, and it's like the middle of the month or whatever, and she's a brand new coach. And oh, Laurie is an Emerald coach, and that really made me turn my head because I didn't know what Emerald meant or how I even became Emerald. And that is kind of a funny story in itself. But my first coach signed up because she said she wanted to drink Shakeology and she wanted the discount. So without knowing what I was doing, I just said, yeah, sign up under me. And then my second coach, who I love dearly, saw me drinking the Shakeology and decided that she wanted to drink Shakeology and get a discount. So she signed up, and she didn't tell me. So I woke up one Thursday morning, I think in February, about a month after I signed up to be a coach, and I was an Emerald. And I saw my face all over my newsfeed, and I didn't know what was going on. But you know what? It felt really, really good. It felt good to be recognized for doing something right. And the reason why I think that one thing drove me from being what I considered being a discount coach to being at least a pretty serious hobby coach really quickly is because Lindsay was exercising that fourth vital behavior before it ever even existed, and that made a humongous difference to me. I had been working my butt off at this point in my clinic setting for about 2.5 years, and the last probably 6 months was spent doing something that I considered a labor of love, which was I decided that we were missing in our community somebody to serve all of these baby boomers with hepatitis C. So I, with my own resources, with my own time and my own money, went, you know, to Florida and to Chicago and got myself trained on the newest treatment modalities to cure hepatitis C. I got with a social worker that worked for my clinic, and I asked her if she would pair with me to open a hepatitis C clinic. So this was something that I had been working on for the past 6 months in my clinic setting. And around the same time I became Emerald, I opened my clinic and I started treating my first patients and curing my first patients of hepatitis C. And I will tell you that not one freaking person in administration and not one medical provider even said, wow, that's awesome, or congratulations, or thank you. And it really stung. You know, here I was like doing something that I knew was life-changing for people, and nobody could care less. And then I joined this Beachbody family, and everybody was shouting my name from the rooftops. So that's my second point, is that the fourth vital behavior can never be underestimated. It is like I think it's my favorite vital behavior. And I can't stress to you guys enough, whether you have honestly no coaches on your team or you have hundreds of coaches on your team, just recognizing your challengers and recognizing other people is where it's at. And that's what we're all about. So with my coach recognizing me for becoming Emerald, unbeknownst to me, it really set the wheels in motion for me becoming more of a business builder. So from there on out, you know, I did every training that my upline told me to do. And I still recall in May of 2015, Sorry, I'm getting my years mixed up. In May of 2015, I did my first Goal Diggers, and social media was still something that was a little bit like kryptonite to me. I really was afraid of what my husband's friends would think of me, what they would tell him I was doing, what my other medical friends would think of me, and really even what my family would think of me, because here I am a medical provider in a very, very serious field, and I didn't want people to think that I was being flaky or I was not being authentic to me. But I did the Goal Diggers, and it's very, it's very heavy in social media. So I did it, and I did it every single day, and I did whatever I was told. And May is not, it's not the best month. It's more of a planting month, but I planted those seeds every single day. I practiced those 3 vital behaviors every single day. And lo and behold, June, July, and August, my summer blew up. I went back to look at my online office today, and unfortunately it only goes back a year, but I think I hit at least SC20 every single month that summer. And it was because I finally just said, screw it. You know what? I love this. I'm having fun. I don't think I care as much anymore what other people think of me. So I just did it. So at that point, it was about July, August of 2015. And I thought, you know what? The next step is to be a diamond coach. So Diesel Nation was hosting the Bring the Bling, which is a push to diamond. And quite honestly, I was already kind of converting some HDs to discount coaches. I still was very uncomfortable with the thought of recruiting. I didn't, recruiting was not something that has ever come into my life at all. So I didn't really know what to do with that, but I was really good at telling people about the discount. So I started Bring the Bling. I think I only needed a couple of coaches to be diamond anyway, but I joined it, and I'm kind of like an all-in or an all-out person. Like I said, I quit the new coach training because I was all out. But when I decided I wanted to be diamond, I was all in. So I did this 6-week push to diamond training, and I was just riveted by these exceptionally bright and talented and motivating and just captivating people within Diesel Nation, and even some of the other people that they got to speak. And what they had to say in these trainings completely changed my business. I listened to every single one, all 6 weeks long, and I will tell you that there were 2 trainings in particular that I think really set the wheels in motion for success this year. In the first one, I believe that Christina gave it, and she used her catchphrase, "You have to know it to grow it." And I am a very black and white book person, and I thought, that makes sense. I got to Success Club every single month, and I got to Emerald, and I don't know how, and I did all these things. I made $14 or $28 in cycling bonuses, but I didn't really know how. So I took that to heart, and I went to the back office, and I watched every video I could on cycling and every video I could on volume and even on advanced placement, so that I knew what I was doing, because that made sense. And then the other call that really made sense to me and spoke to me was kind of looking beyond diamond. You are almost a diamond, or you're a baby diamond, but that's just the first stepping stone to, to being a leader. What's next? So there was a talk, and they said, you have to look at 2-star, and you have to look at 5-star. And so that's what I did. I looked at my downline, and I already had a really awesome rock star coach that I knew was going to be diamond very soon thereafter me. And all of a sudden it occurred to me that I had never even thought to sign up my spouse. I became Emerald without knowing it. I never did a push to Emerald, and I didn't really know the value of signing my spouse until I did that push to diamond. And honestly, if I had to go back and change one single solitary thing about my business, it would be to not have waited. I waited 8 months to sign my spouse. So he was, I don't even know, he's like my 12th or 14th personally sponsored coach. And I already had some pretty awesome rock star coaches rocking their business before I ever signed him up. So my biggest regret, and what, if you newer coaches can take away anything from this, it is, if you even have an inkling that you want to work the business, you sign up your spouse, because I am still kicking myself to this day. But as soon as I learned that, I looked at my downline, I figured out where I needed to place him for 2-star, and just to make the most sense within my business. So I placed him there. I made him Emerald that same day, or at least that same week, and then we both started cycling. So that was one of the really probably smartest decisions that I could have made coming out of that push to diamond. At that same time, Kara and Jenny had just come back from Summit, and they were so fired up about this thing called Elite. I did not know what Elite was. But again, I was a very new diamond. I was starting to get these Elite reports. They were completely like mystical. I didn't know what any of the numbers meant, but I could see at the very top that the very top number was a ranking, and it was out of the whole network. And I don't remember what my ranking was, but I remember thinking, well, it's nothing to write home about, but it's not that bad. So maybe I should figure out why it's not that bad. So that's what I did. For the rest of the fall, the rest of the fourth quarter, really, I kind of dove into trainings, figuring out what those Elite reports meant. And, you know, just it kind of went from there, so that once I started 2016, that I knew what I was doing and what I needed to do to possibly meet this completely crazy goal that I had in my head when I was a brand new diamond. But the one thing that I was still missing, and I knew I was still missing, was a why. I knew I was so fired up about being a Beachbody coach, and I knew that I loved helping people. I really loved helping people, but I still didn't have this big, grandiose why that everybody talked about. I've been so blessed in my life, you know, and I haven't had problems, you know, with addiction or with abuse and all these terrible things, and I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. And I even remember calling my sponsor coach and telling her, I don't know how I'm ever going to be a leader in this organization, because they say to be a leader, you have to know your why. And I didn't have it. But I really don't think that it was a coincidence. At about the same time, it was kind of the first semester of my older son Steven's first grade. And his kindergarten went okay. But it honestly wasn't, you know, it wasn't what I had hoped for my beautiful, brilliant baby. You know, he kind of struggled a little bit. But first grade started, and we got into, you know, the second quarter of first grade, and I got that letter home that no parent ever wants to get, that, you know, we need to meet because we need to figure something out about your kid. Something's going on. About that same time, he started baseball. And so all of a sudden I found myself, at my clinic, kind of near the end of the day, barking orders at my nurse to hurry up, get patients in, get patients out, because I got to leave. I got to go. I got to pick up my kids from aftercare. I got to take them to swimming and take them to baseball. And then we get home, and it's like 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night. And this poor baby, he's already frustrated, and he's already mad that he doesn't understand. And I'm making him do his reading, and I'm making him do his spelling. And it's 8:30 at night. And both of us generally ended up crying almost every single night, because he's very smart. Honestly, I think he's brilliant. And he knew that he was not on par with his peers, and it really, really bothered him. So without even really looking for it, you know, I found that, and I don't want to start crying, but I found that what I was doing by trying to go to work full time, because I felt like that is what I needed to fulfill me, was selfish. And that I loved being a Beachbody coach so much that I knew that that was my solution, that I could still be fulfilled professionally and be there for my little boy, because that's the most important thing. So knowing that, going into 2016, I knew I already had a plan. And so I started off January, February, March 2016, and I kind of recruited like a crazy person. You know, I planted all the seeds in the fourth quarter of 2015, because I knew that's what I needed to do. And I set myself up for success in the first quarter, because I already had studied that Elite report, and I knew that the more 2016 coaches I had at the beginning of the year, the better I was going to be at the end of the year in terms of Elite points. So that's what I did. I think I recruited about 10 in January. February and March, I recruited like 6 each month, I believe, which is not, I mean, it's not crazy rock star numbers, but it was a lot for me. What's important to know about me is I am 100% all quality over quantity, and I have a naked boy in my room. Camden, you gotta go, baby. I'm sorry.
But Mom, can you open that?
Yeah, I'll open it. Sorry, I have to open Pirate Booty. Okay, go with Daddy. All right, sorry. That was my 4-year-old. Anyway, I am 100% quality over quantity, and I knew that sustaining that recruiting throughout the rest of the year was not going to happen for me. I was literally about to shoot myself in the foot trying to onboard these people with the same love that I want to do everything with. So, you know, I would stay up late nights every single night trying to make sure that I touched base with all of my new coaches, but that was not something that was going to be sustainable, at least for my business. So in the second quarter, I consciously backed off of recruiting, and I knew that I had to put a very structured plan in place, because not only was I gunning for elite, but I also had to recertify as a physician assistant, which is actually a pretty big deal. We only have to do it every 6 years, and last time I recertified, I studied my butt off for about 6 months, but I didn't have that kind of time. And not only that, but we were also just closing our construction loan on a 100% custom home. So I knew that something had to happen, and I wasn't going to be able to keep up that pace. So what I did was I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. The first third of the month, I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to focus on my business. I'm going to hit Success Club without fail that first third of the month. And then the last third of the month, without fail, I'm going to focus on onboarding new coaches. I'm going to convert those new challengers from the beginning of the month to the end of the month as coaches. And I'm going to kind of free myself up in the middle of the month so that I can do those other things I need to do, like take care of, you know, studying for my boards and passing my boards, or else I can't keep working, and really start planning, you know, the portions of our new house. So that's what I've done, honestly, for the rest of the year. I structure my month very, very rigidly so that I know exactly what I need to do and how to get it done. And really, I've done that same thing. I think in July of 2016, I decided, okay, let's kind of reevaluate where we're at. I was on a call for elite contenders in the West Coast, which is where I'm at, and they had mentioned that I should kind of get a benchmark of where all my coaches are at. So I talked to every single one of my personally sponsored coaches, and I asked them for their goals. Whether they are a discount coach, I want to know their health and fitness goals, because I still, of course, am very passionate about helping those people that just want to better their lifestyle, better their nutrition. And if they're a hobby coach, I want to know, what they want to do with it. And if they're a discount coach, then I want to know, what leadership ladder rung do you want to be at the end of the year, and what rank do you want to be at, and how much money do you want to be making? And so they gave me all that information. And what I did with that was I created a very exclusive little pod within my team, basically a messenger thread. And I really kind of got the idea from Christina, because I felt so fortunate that she included me in her 2%ers group, and just to be able to bounce ideas off of these other people that were in about the same place in their business. It was, a really great thing for my business, and I wanted to do it for my coaches. So as of about July, I started this thread. There's about 11 or 12 people in the thread, and we have honestly just become like a little family. We not only do I support them, but they support each other so fiercely. I mean, these women are, they're in it, and they know my goals and my dreams, and I know their goals and their dreams, and we support each other no matter what. And I think if there is honestly like one single solitary thing that has driven my business forward this year, it is just creating that community of family and of love in my downline. And it really is not just my personally sponsored coaches. I also have the same type messenger thread with all of my business builders, like in my entire team Inspire Fitness, because I want, like I said, I want to emulate what Kara's done. I can't even tell you how much she has done for our team, and reaching so far into her downline. She really taught me that that's where it's at, and in that just loving on your team is the key to everything. And so then at some point I realized that that's my why. Leading with love and doing this because of the love is why I hustle. You're not going to get up every day if you don't love what you do. And I realized that there are several reasons why I love it. And I honestly have never even really said all of these out loud, but the first and foremost reason is just for self-love. I am honestly and truly the best self I've ever been in my entire life. And I was feeling so bad about wanting to do this for myself and leaving my patients behind, because for 13 years, I have devoted so much of myself to HIV positive patients. And I'm telling you that it's a rewarding job, but it's not the easiest job. I mean, my patients are using drugs and they're spreading their HIV, without using condoms. And it's hard. It's hard because I have to deal with that every single day. And for once, I was doing something that made me feel good in my heart and in my soul. And then one day I was listening to the 21 Laws of Irrefutable Leadership by John Maxwell. And he said something, and it wasn't, I don't know, I'm going to butcher it. It's not really a quote, but he basically just said, do whatever you love and do it so well that you make enough money to give freely of your time and of your money to those causes that matter to you. And all of a sudden, it was like the gates opened up, and I was like, oh my God, I can leave clinical practice and not worry about coming home with anxiety and fear that, maybe I made the wrong decision today. And I don't have to worry about somebody calling me at 6 p.m. on a Friday with platelets of 2,000 and worrying for the entire weekend, because I can give in a different way. I can work my business so well and so hard that I have enough time and enough money without sacrificing my family's lifestyle to give back to this cause that I still feel so strongly about. So that just made me, honestly, I gave myself permission to know that in the next 6 months, I will be leaving my career as a physician assistant to be a full-time Beachbody coach, because that's what I love and it's good for me. The second thing is honestly for my challengers and for my team. If I haven't stressed it enough already, I want every single one of my challengers who has an allergy to Shakeology and is in the 21-day fix, rotation every single 3 weeks, and I know they'll never become a coach. I want them to feel as good as I feel. I could care less if they ever become a coach on my team. I want them to feel this. And for my coaches, I have the most admirable women on my team that work so hard with me day in and day out. And maybe not every single one of them in their chosen profession may have the means to live a life of their wildest dreams. And I feel like I know my husband and I have been there. We've been there in the trenches. We've worked hard. We've worked so hard for so many years to have what we have. And I know I can teach that. I know I can teach that hard work beats talent any single freaking day of the year, because we've been there. I'm not the most talented. He's going to kill me, but he's not the most talented, but we've worked hard, and we got there. And I know that if I can teach anybody to replicate that in this business, that they are going to be able to live the life of their dreams for their family. And last but not least, clearly I'm doing this for my family. I want to be present in my marriage with my husband unconditionally. We have been together for 14 years, and for 12 of those years, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If any of you guys are married to a doctor or you are a doctor, it's not easy. We were in the trenches the entire time, and we both worked hard and we made sacrifices, and there were some weeks that my husband was gone for 100 or more hours a week, and it's insane. But we got through it, and now it's our time. I can leave my job, I can work my Beachbody business during the day and be free at night to spend time with him. And eventually, I know that I am going to be able to earn enough to actually be able to contribute significantly to our income, and maybe he can actually quit back on his hours. I've never even been able to fathom that I could contribute to my family like that. And that is such a blessing. And last but not least, what I didn't mention is that Steven, my older son, was definitively diagnosed with dyslexia over the summer. And he was also diagnosed with severe ADHD, which I honestly didn't see coming. But the ability to be able to cut back on my hours and drop my kids off at school every day and pick them up every day from school has made like the most enormous difference to that little boy, I can't even tell you. We made a very difficult decision a couple months ago to start him on ADHD medications. You know, I mean, we had some of the top pediatricians and specialists talking to us and our friends and everybody, and we made that decision. He started the medication, and I am able to sit down with him at 3 or at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that medication's still on board, and that child can read. He is reading books, and I mean, granted, he's still dyslexic, but he did not get smarter over the summer. He is able to focus. I'm able to spend my time with him. I'm able to cook them a nutritious dinner before I send them off to baseball. And it's like, it's changed his life. It's really changed his life. And I had no idea that that's what I would be dealing with. But honestly, if I could leave you with anything, it is just to lead with love. You know, do this for the love, whatever the reason is, whatever you love this opportunity, just do it for the love. And I'm going to leave you with just one quote that I find very fitting. The day that I was asked to speak on this call, I was actually listening to the last Diesel Nation team call. And I think it was Amy Coppola had quoted something from the seminar that they had just come back from. And she said, I'm going to butcher it, but she said, you would never buy a computer that was 10 years old. So why would you believe about yourself what you believed was true 10 years ago or even 20 years ago? And my initial gut reaction when I was asked to speak was I wanted to vomit. Like, I was completely going to vomit. And then I thought, I'm not good enough. I have no idea why they would ask me to speak. And then I really thought about what she said, and it just punched me in the gut. I was like, you know what? I was not confident when I was in high school. I took great measures to never speak in public ever. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I avoided it and what I did to do it. But I realized that I'm good enough, and I'm confident enough, and I'm smart enough, and I'm not going to let that limit me anymore. So I want every single one of you to just leave here believing in yourself, and believe in yourself so strongly that every other person believes in you too, and you're going to do amazing things. You're still muted, Kara.
Oh, Laurie, thank you so much. That was amazing. I know that was hard to get through certain parts of your story. So thank you for sharing it. You guys, didn't you do an incredible job? Just a couple quick things here. She talked about recognition. She talked about the importance of training. Laurie is definitely somebody who goes all in, and not only listening, but applying what we learn. You know, don't be a collector of information. When we are given an assignment and a call to action in the training, it's for a reason. And, you know, it's something that has really allowed her team and her own leadership to blossom. So there's so much there that was powerful, Laurie. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, lead with love, you guys. Lead with love. As soon as Laurie figured out her why, things came together, and I cannot wait to celebrate that day when it's, you know, it's coming soon, when you're going to be able to say full-time, home with your kids.
Absolutely.
Do all the things that you love. So, you know, keep shooting for a lead. I'm going to ask that we hop in really quick for a team picture. Okay, so let me get to the gallery view. Maybe, okay, here we go. Guys, okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. And let's go. We've got 3 pages, so let me just grab pages 2 and 3. All right. And I want to, okay, great. If you have any questions, we'll just take a few minutes. So drop them really quickly below if you have any questions for Laurie. If you have anything really quick. Okay. Again, thank you so much, Laurie. You did an incredible job. I hope this was helpful and added a lot of value for you guys. And we'll see you soon. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for being on. Bye.